12th standard. I, Mrs. Nalini Lothe, welcome you all in today's class. Let us start the syllabus of 12th standard. First we shall see Prose Section. Dear students, imagine that you are living a life full of fear, full of burden. Your life is unstable and uncertain. Why? Because you have done something in anger or unknowingly, not deliberately, but unknowingly or in a rage of anger, you have done something and you are living a life full of fear and guilt. Suddenly, something happens and your burden is relieved in no time. How will you feel at that time? Yes, definitely you will feel happy and relaxed. In today's story, we see a person whose burden is relieved in no time, but not after some event or incident, but only after seeing one person. Actually, these things are unbelievable, but this is true in today's story. Dear students, let us see a story where we see a person whose burden is relieved in no time after seeing a person. Who is that person whose burden is relieved? And which day is special? Why is the day important? Which day is referred here? We have to see here. The name of the story is An Astrologer's Day. Who is that astrologer? Was he an astrologer by birth? Or did he become an astrologer by chance? And who is that person? After seeing that person, somebody's burden is relieved. You will get all the answers in today's story. Dear students, watch the video till end. You will get many important points that will definitely help you for board exam. So let us start the story, An Astrologer's Day. First we shall see about the writer. The story is written by a famous Indian writer, R.K.Narayvan. R.K.Narayvan created an imaginary village Malgudi where realistic characters in a typically Indian setting lived amid unpredictable events. His novel Guide won him the Sahitya Academy Award in 1961. Let us turn to the story. In this lesson, we come across a person who has become an astrologer due to some reasons. Watch the video till end. I am giving many important points here. I will also explain how to write answers on the same topic in a different way. Write all the points in your copy. This will help you for exam. The activities may be different. For example, web, fill in the blanks, complete, choose the correct option, true or false, match the pairs, explain, personal response, etc. If you know all the points in detail, you can solve any question. So, watch the video with concentration. As we have already seen, an astrologer had started the profession of an astrology due to some reasons. All of you know the typical appearance of an astrologer and his professional equipments. The astrologer in this story was very punctual in his profession of astrology. He went to the marketplace at midday. He carried his professional bag with him. What were his professional equipments? His professional equipments consisted of a dozen cowrie shells, a square piece of cloth with obscure mystic charts on it. Obscure means difficult to understand. Then a notebook and a bundle of Palmyra writing. His appearance was ditto like a professional astrologer. Why? What was the motto behind this? It helped to create an impression to his clients. How was his appearance? See here, his forehead was resplendent with sacred ash and vermilion. Vermilion, you know? Orange colored powder used in puja. In Marathi we say shendur. His eyes sparkled with a sharp abnormal gleam. What is the meaning of this? His eyes sparkled brightly. Why? There are two reasons for this. First is, his eyes were always looking for customers, so his eyes looked very bright. But the people thought that there was a prophetic light in his eyes. Again, another reason was, his eyes sparkled as they were between the painted forehead and the dark whiskers. How were his whiskers? His whiskers streamed down his cheeks. He wound a saffron-colored turban around his head. Dear students, if the question is on the appearance of an astrologer, write the answer in this way, means in full sentence. If the same question is asked for web chat, you have to write the answer only in points like this. His profession was of astrology. Where did he build his business? Let us see. The place of his work, profession, business or occupation was at Town Hall Park. It was under the boughs of a spreading tamarind tree. Boughs means main branches of a tree. Town Hall Park was a remarkable place in many ways for an astrologer to build his business. Why that spot? Why was Town Hall Park a remarkable place? Let us see. The Town Hall Park was a remarkable place for an astrologer. What were the exceptional qualities of the Town Hall Park? There was a surging crowd always moving up and down. It means from morning till night there was rush, there was crowd. It means there was a chance to get more clients for the astrologer. Second, there was a benefit of surrounding light. There was a variety of trades and occupations. There was enough din all the day to attract the whole town. It means he could get many clients there. So, the astrologer had set up his profession of astrology at Town Hall Park. There were various trades at Town Hall Park. Let us see. There were medicine sellers, sellers of stolen hardware and junk. There were magicians. There was a vendor of fried groundnut and the auctioneer of cheap cloth. If the question is asked for web chart, you have to write in this way. If the question is asked for explain or describe, you have to write it in full sentences. The astrologer had set up his profession of astrology at marketplace, means Town Hall Park. There was a vendor of fried groundnut. He gave his ware a different name every day, means he was the vendor of fried groundnut. To his fried groundnut, he gave different names every day. To attract many customers, he sold his fried groundnut by different names like Bombay ice cream, Delhi almond, Raja's delicacy. These are the 3 different names he gave to his fried groundnuts. Let us see the light arrangement in marketplace. The astrologer had no light of his own. He used the light nearby in that marketplace for his profession. What was the light arrangement in marketplace? There was the light of a flare which crackled and smoked up above the groundnut heap nearby. It was the light of the vendor of groundnut. There were the lights of other shops. There were hissing gas lights, naked flares struck on poles, and old cycle lamps. The astrologer used these lights for his profession. Dim light and moving shadows because of that suited him. It means he did not want much light for his profession. But why? He was not intended to be an astrologer when he began his life. He was not an astrologer by birth. He had not much knowledge about astrology. Still, he had started the profession of astrology. He was stranger to the stars like his customers. Still, his profit pleased everyone. Why? What were the reasons behind this? See here, it was a matter of study. It was a matter of practice. It was a matter of shrewd guesswork. And his great listening power helped to develop good relations with people. We have already seen that the astrologer was not an astrologer by birth. He had left his village and settled here. He had started this profession of astrology due to some reasons. You will get its answer in the ending of this video. We have seen that the astrologer had left his village and settled here. If the astrologer had stayed in the village, what would have he done? He would have carried on the work of his forefathers. What was the work of his forefathers? Farming, agriculture. It means he would have been tilling the land. living passively in the village, marrying and living in ancestral home, and ripening in his cornfield. Let us see about his profession of astrology. He was not an astrologer by birth. He had no knowledge about astrology, still his prophet pleased everyone. Why? Because he had some tactics to earn his wages. He had the analysis of human troubles, perception sharpened by long practice, general analysis of human character. He was a silent listener to get enough stuff from the customers. It means he was a silent listener. Whenever any client came to him, he asked him questions. He did not open his mouth at least for 10 minutes. In this way, he got enough stuff from the customer. In this talk, the customer talked too much about him, and this helped the astrologer to tell the prophet. And the last is, he used some common statements regarding human problems. It means, see here, if there was a woman, he told something about family matters. If there was any youth, he spoke about his career or friends. If there was any official person, he spoke about the problems in office or colleagues. It means he guessed the person, and according to that, he told his prophet. His statements were heart-touching. And see here, there are some general statements which are suited to everyone. In this way, means by using these tactics, he earned his wages. He charged 3 pies per question. In this way, he was earning his wages and living his life. Now let us see that special day when the astrologer's life changed totally. There was a turning point in the life of the astrologer. His tension of many years is relieved in no time. Which incident is that? Let us see. One day, as usual, he had set up his business, and in the evening, when the nuts vendor blew out his flare and rose to go home, it was the signal for the astrologer to bundle up. We have already seen that the astrologer did not have his own light. As there was no light now, the astrologer was also about to wind up. At that time, a man came there. The astrologer guessed that man as a possible client and said, "You look so careworn. It will do you good to sit down for a while and chat with me." That person said, "You call yourself an astrologer?" The astrologer said, "Yes, I take only 3 pies per question." The person said, "I have some questions to ask. If I prove you are bluffing, you must return that anna to me with interest." The astrologer said, "If you find my answers satisfactory, will you give me 5 rupees? The person said no. Then the astrologer said, "Or will you give me 8 annas? The person said, "All right, provided you give me twice as much as if you are wrong." The pact was accepted after a little further argument. Students, see here. You have to note what happened one after another. This can be asked for rearranged sentences. Means the incidents which happen one after another can be asked for such activities. When the pact was accepted, the astrologer sent some prayer to heaven. At that time, the person sitting there, means that client, lit a cheroot. You know cheroot? Cheroot means cigar. Again there is another word, jutka. These are Indian words used in this story. When that client, means that person, lit a cheroot, the astrologer caught a glimpse of his face by the matchlight. As soon as the astrologer saw the face of the customer, he felt uncomfortable. He made preparations to bundle up. He told the person to take his anna back. All this happened only after seeing the face of that man. But why? Why did he feel uncomfortable? Why did he want to bundle up and go home? You will get all the answers in the ending. The astrologer wanted to bundle up, but the person didn't let him do so. He said, "Challenge is challenge. Go on." The astrologer proceeded with his drying throat. Like as usual, the astrologer started telling, "There is a woman." But the person said, "Stop! I don't want all that. Shall I succeed in my present search or not? Otherwise, I will not let you go till you disgorge all your coins." See here, when the astrologer saw the face of that person in the matchlight, he had known that person, so he wanted to bundle up. But that client did not let him do so. It means the astrologer knew that person, he has some information with that person, there might be some relation with that person, but it might not be pleasant, and therefore he wanted to bundle up. But that client did not let him do so. He was in search of something. The astrologer had known that person, and he might know much information about that person. He had guessed what that client wanted to ask him. The astrologer had identified that person, but due to this typical appearance of an astrologer, that customer had not identified this astrologer. That person was in some search. The astrologer had known that person. The astrologer thought that this is a good opportunity to earn money. There was a good deal of bargaining, and then the astrologer started telling, "You were left for dead. Am I right?" The very first sentence changed the mood of that man. He said, "Tell me more." With this reply, the astrologer seemed to gather courage. Actually, he was frightened at first, and he had started to bundle up. But now, with the reply of the person, he gathered courage, and he said, "A knife has passed through you once." The other man saw that there is some meaning and truth in the astrologer's foretelling. He bared his chest to show the scar. Unknowingly, he exclaimed, "Good fellow!" The astrologer had told the truth, and therefore, with enthusiasm, the person asked, "What else?" That man was very much curious to know the answers to his questions. He asked, "What else?" The astrologer answered, "And then you were pushed into a well nearby in the field. You were left for dead." The man thought this astrologer really knew about his fate. He was overwhelmed by enthusiasm and started telling that he should have been dead if some passerby had not chanced to peep into the well. The sorrowful memories of past made crowd in his mind. The thoughts came spontaneously in his mind. Now the thought of revenge occupied his mind. Calmness and astonishment were replaced by anger. In anger, unknowingly, he clenched his fist and asked the astrologer, "When shall I get at him?" Without showing any feeling and gestures, the astrologer said very calmly and plainly, "In the next world." He added that the person who tried to kill you died 4 months ago in a far-off town, so you will never see any more of him. The other man groaned after hearing this. He looked gratified. Why? Because the astrologer told him that his enemy was crushed under a lorry, and the second reason, his enemy died as he deserved. Then the astrologer addressed that man as Guru Nayak. The other man was very much surprised and taken aback to hear his name from the astrologer's mouth, because he had not told him his name. The astrologer said that he knew many things about that man and proceeded, "Let us see what the astrologer told that man." The astrologer told that man to listen carefully what he had to say. The astrologer said that the man's village was 2 days' journey due north of that town. He told the man to take the next train and return to his hometown and never come back. He added that if he goes from home, there is again danger to his life. Then the astrologer did some action suited to his profession. The astrologer's actions suited to his profession. Which actions? The astrologer took out the pinch of sacred ash and held it to him. He told the man to rub it on his forehead and go home. The astrologer gave some suggestions to that man. What did he do? He took out a pinch of sacred ash and held it to him. He told the man to rub it on his forehead and go home. He advised the man never to travel southward again, and he said that if he did this, he will live 100. Then that man left the place. Now, let us turn to the end of the story. Here you will know the secret and answers to your questions. The astrologer bundled up and reached home. It was midnight. It was dark everywhere. But the darkness and load that was inside the astrologer had disappeared that day. In real sense, it was his special day. Why? Because he had got much amount of 12.5 annas that day and from only one client. And second is, that day the astrologer felt relieved that Guru Nayak was alive. Till then, he was thinking that he had murdered that man. See here, when the astrologer saw the face of that person, he was very much tense because he had the fear that Guru Nayak will know him and will try to take revenge on him. But that person means Guru Nayak had not known him due to his appearance of typical astrologer, and he had got much amount from only one client, and his tension also was relieved. The astrologer reached home late. His wife was waiting for him. She asked him the reason for being late. He gave her the coins and told to count them. She was overjoyed to see 12.5 annas. Why? What were the reasons of her happiness? She could buy some jaggery and coconut the next day with that money. She would prepare some nice stuff for her children. Her child had been asking for sweets for so many days, and now she would be able to prepare some nice stuff for her. Though the astrologer had got much wages that day, though he had got much amount from only one client, he looked worried. She asked him the reason. He revealed that when he was a silly youngster, he drank, gambled with his friends and quarreled badly. In his rage of anger, he had tried to kill the person. And that person means whom he had tried to kill was not any other person, but he was Guru Nayak. When the astrologer saw the face of Guru Nayak in the matchlight, he had the fear that Guru Nayak would take revenge on him. But Guru Nayak could not identify this astrologer means that person because of the typical appearance of an astrologer. Actually, Guru Nayak had come there in search of the person who had tried to kill him. He came in contact with that person, but he could not identify him in the appearance of astrologer. That day, he got much amount and was relieved of his tension. So this is the special day in the life of the astrologer. So the name of this story, An Astrologer's Day, is apt. I hope you have enjoyed and understood this story. Dear students, if you have any query, write in the comment box.